Most people think an L-sit is just an ab exercise. I thought the same thing until I tried holding one for the first time. My body didn't just shake, it completely refused to leave the floor. And 30 days later, that same exercise became one of the biggest upgrades to my calisthenics strength. But the most surprising change wasn't my abs. It was everything connected to them. The L-sit looks almost effortless. You sit down, push into the floor, straighten your legs, and hold. No movement, no momentum, just strength. And that's exactly why it's so brutal. When there's nowhere to hide, every weakness gets exposed. My first attempt lasted basically 0 seconds. I couldn't even lift my body cleanly from the floor. On parallettes, I managed a few seconds with bent knees. Straight legs? Not happening. My shoulders collapsed, my hip flexors cramped, my wrists complained, and my core barely got the chance to work. That became my starting point. For the next 30 days, I trained the L-sit every day and tracked every hold. The goal was simple: build from bent knee holds to straight legs, increase my time under tension, and eventually lift completely off the floor. But I quickly discovered something most people miss. The L-sit isn't just about having strong abs. It's a full-body compression position. Your shoulders have to push down. Your scapulae have to stay controlled. Your core has to brace. Your hip flexors have to lift your legs. And your entire body has to stay rigid at the same time. That's why it transfers so well to advanced calisthenics skills like the front lever, planche, and press to handstand. The flashy movements are built on boring foundations, and the L-sit is one of them. Days 2 through 7 were ugly. My hip flexors cramped almost immediately. My wrists started aching. My arms gave out before I felt the deep abdominal fatigue I expected. For a moment, I wondered if I was even training the right thing. Then I changed one detail. Instead of simply gripping the parallettes, I started thinking about pushing them into the ground as hard as possible. That changed everything. My shoulders became more stable. My lats started contributing. My chest stopped collapsing. And suddenly the L-sit felt less like surviving and more like controlling my entire body. By day 7, my bent knee hold reached around 8 seconds. It sounds pathetic, but when your starting point is 0, 8 seconds feels like proof that your body is finally listening. Then, week 2 exposed another weakness. Compression strength. I could brace my torso, but lifting straight legs required something different. So I added seated pike lifts and compression work. At first, they looked almost pointless. I was sitting on the floor lifting my legs only a few inches. But those tiny movements were teaching my body how to create force in the exact position I needed. Sometimes the exercise that looks too easy is training the part you're actually missing. By the middle of the month, my bent knee holds reached 15 seconds. Then, I made the mistake every ambitious person makes. I thought I was ready for straight legs. I wasn't. I went from 15 seconds bent knee to only a few seconds with my legs straight. The lever had changed. My body suddenly felt twice as heavy. My lower back wanted to compensate. My hip flexors were burning. And my confidence disappeared almost instantly. But that failure showed me exactly where my weakness was. Days 16 through 21 became a grind. I was stuck around 8 to 10 seconds on clean straight leg holds. Some days were better, some were worse. Then, day 18 arrived. My lower back started taking over whenever my form broke. So instead of forcing more time, I focused on cleaner positioning and recovery. That distinction matters. Progress isn't always adding more. Sometimes progress is refusing to practice bad movement. By day 21, I was reaching 12 to 15 seconds. Then, something unexpected happened. My handstands started feeling more stable. I wasn't specifically training them, but the shoulder control and whole body tension from the L-sit were carrying over. That was when I realized I wasn't just getting better at one exercise, I was becoming better at controlling my body. Then came the hardest part. Not the pain, the boredom. By day 22, I could hold around 20 seconds, but mentally I was exhausted. Same floor, same setup, same shaking, same burn. I wanted to stop. And that's where many transformations quietly end. Not because the person is incapable, because repetition becomes boring before the results become obvious. Day 23 was worse. My time dropped. Instead of panicking, I accepted the bad session and finished my planned work. No ego, no punishment, just consistency. That's discipline when nobody is watching. During the final week, I stopped obsessing over the stopwatch. I chased position instead. Straight legs, pointed toes, shoulders depressed, core locked, no cheating. And something strange happened. The numbers started moving again. 15 seconds. Then 18. Then 20. Day 28 gave me 25 seconds, and for the first time, the hold didn't feel impossible. It felt controlled. Then came day 30. One final attempt. After 30 days of failing, shaking, cramping, adjusting, and repeating the same movement, I went back to the floor. The exact position where this experiment started. I pushed down, lifted my body, straightened my legs, and for the first time, my feet actually left the ground. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't beautiful. But it was real. On day 1, I couldn't perform a floor L sit. After 30 days, I could hold a full L sit for around 30 seconds and a floor L sit for around 10. That's the part that matters. Not the number, the evidence. My body had adapted because I repeatedly demanded something from it that it couldn't do before, and the secondary improvements were just as noticeable. Better hip flexor control, better compression strength, more awareness of shoulder position, stronger hollow body tension, more confidence in other calisthenics movements. But here's the warning. Doing L sits every single day isn't automatically better. Your wrists, shoulders, hip flexors, and recovery still matter. If your form is breaking down or pain is increasing, more volume isn't more discipline. It's just more stress. Train intelligently. Progress gradually. Let your body adapt. Because the real lesson from 30 days of L-sits isn't that one exercise can magically transform you. It's that weaknesses become strengths when you stop avoiding them. Day 1, I couldn't lift my body. Day 30, I could. Same body, same floor, different level of control. And that's how transformation actually happens. Not through one heroic workout, through hundreds of small moments where you choose to push again. The shaking stops. The strength stays. The exercise that once exposed your weakness eventually becomes proof of how far you've come. So don't ask whether you're naturally gifted. Ask what you're willing to practice consistently. Because your strongest version isn't hiding somewhere in the future. You're building it every time you choose to push again.